Hello everybody. I'm going to be walking you through some updates that we've just created for the basketball pages that will eventually be applied to the rest of the sports here at HSAA. For this example, I'm going to be creating a fictional rules page for basketball to demonstrate those 5 things. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm here on the basketball page on the HSAA.org website. And on the bottom right hand side, you're going to notice this edit site. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And just as a note, if you don't have that on there, if you scroll down to the middle and you go down to this website admin and you click on that, you can log in using your credentials, and then you'll be able to see this little arrow that pops up at the bottom, and then eventually this edit site once you're actually logged in. I'm already logged in. That's why that edit site button is on there. So let's go ahead and create this page. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on edit site, and it's going to load up for me. And then on the bottom, you're going to see these collections on here. These are pretty much the essentials of how you edit anything on the website that you have access to. All right, so I'm going to click on basketballs pages here. So it's basketballs. And then I'm going to click a new basketball page in this green button. And I'm going to name it rules. Now, if I were to cancel that really quick, so I'm going to discard changes. These menu items at the top are now editable by you when you create a new page off of your collection for your particular sport. So I'm going to demonstrate that right now by hitting the basketball pages, create a new page or new basketball page, and I'm gonna hit rules. The way that I disable, because I don't want this page to be public to anybody just now, I'm going to hide this rules page because it's fictional. I'm going to hide it from the main navigation. And in the general page, the main content, I'm going to paste this information that I already have. And then in this page type, I'm going to hit general for now. I'll demonstrate why that is here in a little bit. And then I'm going to pick this category and name it basketball. I think as far as this goes, that's all it actually needs. I'm going to create this page. Again, this page is not labeled up here at the top. Okay, so it's not accessible on there. So when I go and I actually publish that change, I'm going to have access to edit that page here in a second. I'm going to now navigate to that once the website is actually published out to the public. So I'm just waiting for rules to be done. And then once it's done, I could actually go up because it's not listed at the top. I can go to rules, and then I have this rules page that I just created. Okay. Now let's go back in and edit it so we can see how this page actually works. Use it as an example on the way that we edit any of these pages that we have on this website. Okay. So go back to edit it. And the first thing I'm going to do is to demonstrate something quite simple. We have now a separate section for more additional text. I'm going to actually take this text that I have here. I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to get rid of the extra spaces down there. And I'm going to make this or paste that same text that I just copied. And I'm going to put it at the lower text area. And I'm going to hit save that. I'll explain why in just a second. Okay, so right now when you go back to the live page, the kind of like what we're editing, you're going to notice that now there's 2 boxes. There's a top box, the main content, and this lower box, this lower content area. And you may be asking yourself, why does that actually matter? The reason that it matters is that I have seen observing other sports is that there's sometimes a need to have some text at the beginning, like some intro text, and then some text lower at the bottom of the page itself. But it doesn't make sense until we actually do the next step. So let's go ahead and demonstrate what that does. Okay, so I'm going to go back onto that rules page that I just created. And one new thing that we've added are buttons on the page itself, an easy way for you to be able to add that on there. So let's go to these new link 1 label. I'm going to go ahead and write in there link to rules, just as an example. And I'm going to, for now, I'm just going to link out to google.com. It's actually a domain, an actual website. It doesn't have any rules on it just yet. It's just for our example. Now let's go ahead and look at what happens when we add a link. Now, I know that I just put Google on there, but essentially you can send that link out to wherever you may want. So imagine there is some kind of like major basketball page that you can link out to and say, this is kind of where we get our rules from. There's, if I were to click on this, if I were to be on the live site, it would open up in a new tab, and you can provide some additional information off of a website that isn't our own. Okay, so now look at how this text works. You have the intro text at the top still, you have your buttons there in the middle, and then you also have your lower text that still exists at the bottom of the page. Let's add another type of button really quick. Again, going back to the basketball pages, I'm going to go over to rules, and then I'm going to scroll down just a tiny bit. There are 3 link areas that I have added, so you can add up to 3 links on there. Then I also added another type of link that you can have a sample waiver form. Let's just name it that for now. And then I'm going to click on this, to attach a form to it. And then now I have this sample physical form on there. I'm going to leave the label as is. It's just an example to demonstrate the way that this works. So now still I have the link to the external website that has the basketball rules that I want to maybe direct some of my visitors to, but I also have a sample physical form or a sample waiver form. Think of any PDF or any document that you want to attach on here. You can actually easily add those documents on there now. Now this is separate and different from the policies page that you still have. The policies page still has the bulk of the downloadable files that you may want. This ability to add these links on here is something that I found necessary to provide as something that you can add there like an admin, so you can add something specific to the page that you're currently on. Okay, so it gives you some flexibility on being able to add brand buttons and links onto the page that you're currently working on. Okay, and then here we get to kind of see a little example of how that sandwich of text at the top, text at the bottom kind of gives you some ability and some flexibility to add some additional text at the top or at the bottom. Okay, so let's kind of push that a little bit further. If I were to click on rules, I just said that this is a general page. What if I were to make it a news page, which is one of the types that we have at the bottom? So I'm going to click on news and hit save and look at what happens on our page. Okay, so I go back to that page. I still have that text at the top, that intro text, that main content. I still have my buttons there, the ones that I just added. One is link, the other one's a document that someone could download. But then now I have all the rules particular to basketball, because that's our example for today. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I still have the text that I added some additional text at the bottom. So that just demonstrates this is kind of what the reason why we have that top text and then that bottom text as well. Okay, for now, I'm going to make the rules page back into that general page because that's kind of more fitting for the example that I have. Okay, so I'm still going to leave those 2 buttons on there. Now, if I wanted to show that rules page on the top navigation, which I can, just as an example for now, all I have to do is disable this, hide from the main nav. And when I disable that and hit save, that navigation now should pop up at the top. Again, because this is a fictional page, I don't want that right now to be public to anybody, because after this recording, I'm going to go ahead and remove it. So for now, I'm going to still leave it disabled or hidden from the main navigation so it's not up there. But remember, that enables you to add the multiple number of pages to your website pages, your sport pages on HSAA. Now, we do want to be mindful of how many links you have on here. It would not be recommended for you to have 20 different links appear just because you can. So as an admin, I'll be monitoring that and maybe seeing what we can do to kind of like help you later on, what if you need to absolutely have to have a few more links up there than you have space for. So we can kind of cross that bridge once we get there. Okay, so for now, I think we're at a pretty happy place of just being able to edit our own links without having to contact me for adding a new page to your navigation. Let's go ahead and look at the buttons on the page. We've already covered the page structure, the way that it's created, but let's look at these menu items that are off to the side. These are actually social media links, but they don't only have to be social media. Let's go ahead and see how those work. Okay, so if I go over to collections and I go over to social button list, you'll notice that I have basketball buttons right now. Your sport will come later if it's not listed on there right now. This is like literally fresh off the press. Okay, so right now I have Facebook as my one link. Notice that this is not locked in. If you were to say follow us on Facebook, that is actually available for you. Follow us on Facebook, and I hit save, and instantly that is updated on that button out here without you having to program anything on there. Okay, so I go back to the social buttons on there. Let's pretend that basketball just got on Huddle. So I'm going to put Huddle down here, and let's pretend that the URL is huddle.com. So I'm going to hit save on that. And you notice that now we have a fourth button that's also Huddle down here. And if once we were to make these changes and make them public, then that link would be available to everybody. To remove those, you simply click back in there. You remove, it's like, hey, I actually added that, in error. So I'm going to remove that on there. But that also gives you some flexibility to add some accounts on there. Now, say, for example, you don't necessarily need to be adding social media accounts on there. You can add any type of link that you want on there. Now, again, be mindful of what you're adding because it has to make sense for it to be listed on there. Like a really good example right now for that page or for these buttons off to the side, you might, if basketball has a shop that they want to link out to, that would be a perfect place to put it on there. Okay, so that's just an example there. One other thing that we've added is this contact us button up here. Some sports have specific pages they want to post on there to say this is the contact us page. Instead of going to the general contact HSAA as an organization contact button or contact page, you want to edit that. So let's go ahead and look at collections, and we're going to say contact buttons. Again, this is so fresh that basketball is the only one that has it right now so far. But on this page, you actually have the link to where that is actually for basketball, it's actually linked out to. So I will demonstrate this, or I will add this for other sports. But in case that ever needs to change for you, you're going to change it from basketball contacts to basketball commissioners instead. Then you can change this link here and have that link to wherever you may want. And I know that would be a feature. That was a feature that was requested. And that is an easy way for us to all be able to edit that part of the website easily. Let me show you one last thing really quick. Okay, so I'm going to publish these changes, even though it's not live because the page is still hidden. I'm going to publish these changes really quick, and I'm going to edit the registration page for basketball to demonstrate how you would add the registration button simply and easily once their registration opens up. So I'm gonna go back to the live site down here, and then on the top right, I'm going to click on the registration button for basketball. So now I'm on the registration button, or on the registration page for basketball. They have their main content up here. They have their general registration, which is, in accordance with how HSA has that two-tier registration process. I want to edit this page. Let's pretend that basketball just opened up their registration. The registration form is open and ready to take on new athletes. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the site, and then I'm going to go back to the basketball's pages, and on that you're going to notice that it has the registration page and has the main content at the top, and that first link for that general registration is listed here. And then now let's pretend that basketball registration 2024 through 25 is now open. I'm going to put google.com again just to kind of for our example, not what we want to publish, of course. But now you have that basketball registration button down here. Once that registration closes out or it's no longer available, you don't want people registering after a certain date, you can come back in here and change that, and then just disable that so people are not able to log in or try to register kind of late to the season. Okay, so then you'll notice that is gone from there. I think generally speaking, that covers everything. So again, just to recap, we did the top navigation, how you're able to create your own pages now, how you can show or hide off of that top navigation, the page structure of how it works, that top content area, the bottom content area, and the features in the middle, like these buttons are there, the buttons on the page that we just added, the social media buttons off to the side, then you can add up to 7 links on there. And then the contact us button, even though it's a small change, it's something that's quite nice to be able to showcase for this tutorial. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at webmaster@hsa.org, and I will be pushing out more tutorials like this in the near future. Thank you for your time.